Come on, bring me all the football. I want to get sick of it. I want to be like, I can't do it. It's just too much football. I don't know that I've ever said that. Maybe. If the slate is ass and we're in week 15 or something, maybe. But it's tough. I want to be in a position to have to do that, to push away from the table. I can't do anymore. It's delicious, but I can't. I'm going to throw up. I want to be able to do that. I want to be that kind of gluttonous with my football. I want my wife to be mad. I want her to be like, oh, I see you got the football on again. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The 18 hours you watched yesterday wasn't enough, was it? No, that was Saturday. Today is Sunday. We will start again at 1. That's the conversation. You take the kids for a walk if you want. Go to the park. I'm going to be right here watching the football. That's what I'm going to be doing. That's the kind of conversation I want to have. The uncomfortable ones that we have in the fall centered around the great game of football.
Yeah, my buddy, when he was first married, told his wife, babe, I can't today. Saturdays are for football. And then Sunday would come around. I'm sorry, babe. Sundays are for football. And, there was frustration in the air. But when I visited, and even when I wasn't there, that's what Saturdays and Sundays were about. We get these 4 months. We hold them very dear to our hearts.
Yeah. And I tell you this, I like that it's not the Saturday and Sunday that frustrates my wife anymore. It's the Monday, it's the Maction, it's the Thursday, it's the do we not have a day? Do we not have a day? Jeff, where there's no football, and I'm like, not in a perfect world we don't, babe. In a perfect world, there's football on every day during football season. I don't need football in the middle of June. I don't need football in May. But when it's football season, you go ahead and give me all the football. I want to flip around. Oh, look at this. We got a little Southern Conference action tonight, I see. Okay.
Every day. It's like this phone call I placed almost 15 years ago now into the Mad Dogs show because I wanted to mess with him. It was opening day of baseball.
Oh, so
you remember this story? It was the Mets played the Reds. It was the opening day.
Yeah, Dumig?
No, the Mad Dog, Chris Russo. He was on Sirius XM even way back in the day.
Yeah.
So I called thinking I'd be put on hold. I went right through. Yeah. He had nobody.
He needed you right then. Yeah.
And like, dog, I was really impressed with Santana. He pitched the first, the second, the third, the fourth. He did good, the fifth and the sixth. And then, we did good job in the seventh and the eighth, K-Rod in the ninth. I thought it was a good game. Your thoughts? And he's like, great call, Tom. I agree. They pitch well all 9 innings.
You're like,
that's football. It's the Sunday football, the Monday night. Football. Then there's Maction on Tuesday, Wednesday. There's Thursday night football.
USF plays Wednesday at noon.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
Little Noles, Louisville on a Friday night. Saturday football.
All the football. Bring me all of the football. It's glorious. And it's funny because bless my wife's heart, she had boys. We had boys, and now they love football. And so it's like there's no escaping. They want to watch the football too. So she's just like, we're like, hey, babe, there's other televisions. In this room here with the 85-incher, that's going to be football. You go take it out back there. Hey, I did right in the back, 51 inches back there in the master bedroom. Hey, now, just go ahead and watch
that. Not a centimeter less.
Just watch that football back there. And she's like, okay, I'm going to watch a movie. Well, you got all the time in the world. Catch up on every movie.
Watch a trilogy.
I was going to say, watch every movie you've ever wanted to see but didn't. We'll be out here watching the football for like 12 hours. You're good to go. You can see everything. You can watch 6-part documentaries.
You could watch every episode of The Simpsons.
Oh, man.
From Saturday morning to Sunday night.
Oh, man. Isn't that great? That is so... by the way, if you're on Warchant TV, like and subscribe. If you're listening on 93.3, thanks for doing that. And we appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Very much so. I passed a guy on my way, and this oddly made me happy about football again. Everything kind of is steering in that direction. It's the last day, again, that is not Redemption Thursday. Next week, we get the gambling going. We get it on. Now, I've been gambling, but now we do it publicly again here on the show. It's great. And so what I would tell you, I was driving in, and there's this elderly man, and he's doing yard work, but he was part of a group of guys doing yard work. This was their job. This was their thing. I couldn't see the name of the company, but this is what they did. And dude had to be like 75 out there weed eating. And I was like, my man. And I thought, you know what? His life's about to get better. Football's about to start. So that's good. That's good. His life. I did. I was like, at least he gets to go home and watch football.
That's a strong set of bones and a stronger heart. You're out in the heat for what could be decades.
Oh, sure. Well done, Mark. Hey, Jeff, it's Toafili and Warwick days until kickoff. Guys, I don't have a problem with Toafili. One gentleman on Twitter said, good God, man, he's got a family. I'm just pushing back on the insane over-the-top love for Lawrence Toafili when he's like the third best back in our backfield, or fourth maybe. So what are we doing?
They're piling on Swiss Irish too. It's good afternoon and welcome, but there's no mission.
There's value to Lawrence Toafili on this football team. He will make some big plays. He's a guy that has sort of a missing element in this offense, which is the ability to change the game with the big play. He can do that. It's just that down to down, series to series, that's not your guy. He's not the model of consistency. He's not big enough. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's still relatively young. And, hey, I root for my St. Pete guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for my guys. And you know how hard I'm pulling for Deuce Spann. He's a Lakewood guy. That's what we do. We litter the country with football stars. That's what we do at Lakewood. But, I mean, I'm still going to tell you what I think he is or is not as a football player.
I finally got a guy on a team.
You do? You got one?
Gibbons, he's a marauder.
That's right. He's a marauder, yeah.
It's the anchor. In more ways than one. He's the anchor of the offensive line. I think he's going to be an anchor on television at some point.
Well, we'll see. He's doing the things that he thinks he needs to do to be that. I don't know if we'll see.
Well, I mean, he could be the next Mac Lane on ACC Network. You never know.
Something to aspire to. I have been, even that's another indicator, Tom. Caught myself watching all those camp previews.
You did?
I watched the Syracuse
ACC road trips?
Georgia Tech was just on. I watched Georgia Tech.
I thought you didn't.
I did, because I was curious. Here's why. I was curious. How would I say I was in that position? They said, all right, Jeff, we're sending you on the road. You're going to be the anchor for Georgia Tech and Syracuse. How would I do it? I wanted to see how they got through it.
So you're telling me I'm paying my dues, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me?
I was like, how are they going to – because they try to sprinkle sunshine for every one of those teams. Like, they can't get there and be like, all right, we're here at Georgia Tech, where most assuredly Jeff Collins will be joining us for the last time. As this is going to be a tough one.
Unless he's on the set here next year.
Unless he's joining us as an analyst. We will not be interviewing Jeff Collins in our Georgia Tech preview next year. I think we all know the deal. Jeff, good to see you again. How you doing? Yeah, that's like, how would you do it? You know, and so anyhow, I wanted to see, because sometimes it's not about the team and the information that I'm getting. It's more about the broadcast and the effort of the host and the analyst. And I want to see, okay, let's see, what kind of professionalism do we have here? How deep down can you reach and turn this thing into straight-faced infotainment, where we get to see what we need to see and hear what we need to hear, and it comes across and it's presented as legit, even though we know that you know, and everybody on that set knows, nobody cares. Nobody cares. No, nobody. Like, Georgia Tech alum are flipping around. They're like, oh, Georgia Tech, what are we doing here? Flip it over. Oh, we'll come back when they get to a team. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But I can't help myself. I watched it because it is football related. I want to hear what the players say too. Players lie to themselves. Nobody lies to themselves better than golfers. Either pro golfers, weekend hackers.
They lie to everybody.
But golfers are the greatest liars to themselves. They have to be. You know, somebody else is the reason that ball is OB. Somebody else is the reason, you know, that score is not where it needed to be. So it's the caddy, it's the weather, it's a bad bounce, it's that divot, it's that fan, it's whatever. But it's rarely, well, that's on me. I stood up out of that shot completely, guys. Did you see that? You never hear them say that. And it's always them. 99% of the time, it is the player. Now, there are bad bounces in golf, but you get my drift. Nobody lies to themselves better than golfers. They have to keep forging on in a sport of brutal failures, and it's hard. And I think when you hear football players, because of the hard work you have to put in, because of the amount of time in the gym and the anguish you put yourself through, and all the free time that is taken away while you put in the time you need to get bigger and stronger and faster and better. Nobody wants to believe that that's all for naught. Nobody wants to believe that, all right, glad you worked hard every day of the year. Let's go 2-10. Let's go get that 2-10, boys.
And typically camp doesn't feature a group that has an awesome offense and a terrible defense or vice versa. Usually your team is about even, usually. So camp is always by its own nature competitive. And we talk about it, or, I discussed yesterday the fog of camp. Like, well, if Kando's dominating fall camp, does that mean that he's good or that the tackles are bad? They don't know. But then they see other teams and like, oh, well.
Yeah, then they go out and play a game. They get stoned.
Camp was easy.
Coming off the edge for the entirety of the game. Maybe I'm not any good at all.
I thought camp was hard, but apparently it was easy.
Well, and that's true, too, just in terms of workload and practice. And it's all relative to when you played and what you thought was difficult. And I think modern players, certainly, without the get off my lawn aspect to this speech, they're going to point to practice as being difficult. Well, are they? I mean, they're not nearly as difficult as they used to be. Now, the things that used to be done were insane. They were over the top. That's how guys got hurt and had their careers ruined and everything else. But to say that camps are hard now compared to yesteryear, no, they're not. There's far less hitting. Back in the day, the way they prepared all football players was just to hit constantly. Florida State did this. And back in Mickey Andrews' days, they hit all the time. They were always hitting. At the end of practice, goal line drill, just beating the bejesus out of each other for hours. They were ready to play by the first week. It was crazy. They don't do that anymore. They'll take 2 days off. They'll take, we're just shells today. We're just, and so, sometimes I hear like, oh, well, they're exhausted. And then I think, well, come on now. Let's buck up, soldier. It's not that hard. I have wondered, this was asked of me yesterday, and I don't have a good answer. I do have an answer for it. I don't know if it's ideal, but I also don't know that there's a solution. So folks mentioned, why do they practice in the morning instead of late afternoons? Like, they're never going to play a morning game. Why would they practice at 8:50 a.m.? They're never going to play at 8:50 a.m. Why wouldn't you acclimate your bodies to a more synonymous sort of schedule, right? Commiserate schedule. And I said, well, if you live in Tallahassee, you know the answer to that question. Every day at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, it pours and there's a huge storm, and you would be stuck going inside all the time or having your practice delayed for an hour and a half, like every day. My youngest son's playing football. His practice gets moved into the gym every day. He's furious. He's like, Dad, we were going to hit. Got 5 minutes into it. Lightning strike. We all had to go in. That's like 5 days in a row. So they have to do something different. They can't just play practice outside. And before you say, and people will, well, they used to practice outside all the time under Bobby Bowden. Yeah, man, nobody cared if somebody got struck by lightning back then. There was no such thing as a lightning delay in any football game I ever went to in my life prior to about 5 years ago. Just never happened.
Well,
ever.
And then towards the end, even when they did have those things, they'd be in the track room. They'd go into that small-ass track room with the hissing lights, and they do, I don't even know what. How do you fit all the people in there? You can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's
turf room, if I said track room.
Yeah, turf room. But I mean, it's not, back then, the regulations were different. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I mean, but I just don't, it's crazy to me. It's a little bit like, I got to be careful. I won't say that.
That's right. Be careful.
No, I was going to compare it to something else that's just, would open
your inner alarm is going off for a reason.
It would have been a can of worms that I don't feel like getting into, and people are sensitive, so I don't want to get into it. But the point is, like, you look around these days, and I'm not even saying this is listen to me. This is not political or anything like that. It's not. It's that, and it could just be that you're older and you're more observant to certain things. But like you see things you never saw when I was 16, 17 years old. And I'm not talking about behavior. I'm talking about
danger around the corner.
No.
Okay. Like we talked about recently, that once you get to a certain age, you realize if you fall, that might really hurt.
Oh, you certainly become more observant to your surroundings based on the fragility of your makeup at any given time, or how. Yeah, well, when you're 18, you're fearless, so you don't look for anything because you think, oh, whatever comes at me, I got this. Because you're dumb enough to think that at 18, not 50. but no, just certain things. We become more aware of things as we advance, and there are some things that we've become more aware of, and they're talked about a lot. And so you're like, oh, I don't remember that ever being talked about when I was 14. Or 15. I don't remember anybody talking about this thing or that thing, whatever it might be, right? That's how I feel about lightning delays. I'm always like, there was no such thing. They didn't exist. And I don't remember a rash of people getting struck by lightning. I'm not trying to say we should go back to a time where we just ignore the lightning and play on. I am saying we used to ignore the lightning and play on every day. I played football in Florida until I went away to East Tennessee. It rained every day. We were like, all right, well, did you see that one? It hit the tree right over there. 2nd and 7. Got it. I mean, like, we're just playing. Nobody's going anywhere. We're playing the practice. Buck up, man. And you'd go to games. You'd see the lightning in the distance. You're like, look at that one. All right, let's go, boys. Nobody thought to get up and leave. Nobody.
It was a better time.
It would have had
simpler time.
It would have had to have been like just an insane. It would hit the stadium. Like near the stadium, a car would have to get taken out in the parking lot, like Lee Corso's did. Remember that footage? That's the best. Lee Corso's car getting struck by lightning.
No, I've never seen that.
Oh, you can pull it up. It's awesome. But anyhow, yeah, Lee Corso's.
Who has film of that?
They've showed it.
Is
on
it like
ESPN.
A parking lot camera or something?
It's right outside the stadium. But here's the deal. Yeah, people. I think the first time I encountered a lightning delay, I was in Denver. Of all places, I was in Denver, Colorado. And I was going to a Raiders-Broncos game with my dad and a couple buddies. And it's when we played Colorado. And we were standing outside the stadium, and we go in, and right at the start of the game, it got delayed by lightning. I was like, in Colorado, I was so pissed.
Weird. I don't remember that. Mm-hmm. They kicked off close to on time. I remember being pissed because the Alabama game was finishing before that. Mm-hmm. And they asked Saban like 6 questions before they cut over to our coverage. I was like, oh, I'm just going to want to ask him his thoughts on family values. All right.
No, our game wasn't delayed. The Broncos and the Raiders were delayed.
Oh,
on that Sunday.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Broncos and the Raiders were delayed. Yeah, there it is. Live Spectator remembers. Lee Corso's car got zapped at Virginia Tech. It did. Got blown up. It was awesome. You got it. We'll watch it during the break. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination, it's a great big celebration, it's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh man, everybody, the ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros, the Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states. For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For better style, quality, and design, go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Show.
It's $1. It's a damn dollar. Warchant.com, $1, 1 year on 3. Head to warchant.com to sign up. All FSU fans, let's go. Tom, do we want to roll out all the goodness that's we're at the doorstep of right now? Let everybody know.
We can roll it out.
Roll it out.
We can work it out. What do you think?
Good song. If you look at your screen while you're on Warchant TV, you'll see the caricatures of us. Zaxby's presents Warchant Game Day. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. There you see me, and then you see the big Zaxby's chicken, and you see the whole crew. It's great, including Dominic Robinson, who's been added to the list of folks that we employ to try to bring you the best that we possibly can. So the schedule, Duquesne week. How about that, Tom? Single digits.
Single digits.
Single digits.
Toafili days.
Come on, man. Come on. Duquesne week schedule. Pre-game show from Hotel Indigo begins at 2 p.m. And watch along is at 5 o'clock. That's with Dominic Robinson, Aslan, T. Lizzie. Post-game show, T. Lizzie stays on board. He's all about that in-game, post-game life. I am not.
Well, I'm about that pre-game life, too.
I know you are. But the other stuff, I would, you're a working man. You're a hard-working man. Appreciate that. Post-game show, you guys call Gene, call Tom, and let's talk about the fact that it was 35-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Woo. What is this, NC State 2013?
I just don't think I've preached it. I've tried to let people know we shouldn't be playing Duquesne, guys. It's you want to get into player safety and all that stuff, man. We shouldn't be playing Duquesne. It's nonsense. But we are. And nobody wants to hear me prattle on about this. So I'm not going to. but it's not really a game that schools the size of Florida State anyhow should ever be played, ever. Duquesne would lose by 50 to Jacksonville State, guys. It's not a game. It's not going to be a game. So the point would be, if we get to halftime, Tom, and we're not up by 3 touchdowns, bare minimum, I'm going to be like, we got some problems. I'm serious about that. I'm not even kidding. I don't know. I'm not going to try to sit here and besmirch or belittle the people at Duquesne. There's a level of football. There are levels of football for a reason. And you know what? There's a place for somebody to go play everywhere. Not everybody can. I couldn't play at Florida State. I wasn't good enough, big enough, strong enough, fast enough. Most people aren't. And then there's the next level below that, and the level below that, and then the level below that, and then there's Duquesne. It's just, come on, man. Go look at that schedule.
No, thanks. I don't want to.
So I just want to, I'm not saying that to belittle Duquesne. I'm saying that this is not going to be, the benefit Florida State gets from this football game is not physical. The benefit Florida State gets for this game is not physical. It's all the other stuff. Okay? So it's the, listen, it's the stuff that you really can't replicate all that well in a practice. So I'm glad they get to do it. There is a benefit. It's just not physical.
Well, the benefit is we get to roll out all our caricatures that the folks at Zaxby's made for us.
I like those caricatures.
Do you like yours?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah?
I don't care. I think they did a good job with everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's fine. It's funny.
Ira with the binoculars is a good one.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite. I don't know why, but I'm partial to Gene in the upper left-hand corner where I'm looking at it now, because it's like he's just like these effing guys.
I believe that's what he told the people that he wanted them to draw up, is like, oh my God, what have I done?
That's funny. Ryan writes, I told my wife we're crashing the JCS event in NOLA. She said, the homeless looking bald guy from Shreveport? I said, no, that was Corey Clark. Oh man. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to end up, I guess Tom and I are going to have the best time of the entire crew. I'll get it out there now. Tom and I, we are clearly going to have the best time of everybody that works for Warchant, because we did it right. We made plans together a long time ago, leaving on a Thursday.
You're right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you don't
keep those plans.
Okay, we'll just keep those plans private.
That's right.
But we're making stops.
We can tell you post fact.
We're making stops.
Yeah.
We're making stops along the way.
Look, man, the Thursday, Friday thing that's for us.
Okay. It's going to be awesome, though.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And whatever staff members come with us. That
Oh, yeah, we're not excluding them. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's our off time. We're punching the clock. Gonna take a day.
We're making stops. And hey, there's stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be a lot of things to do. Let's just put it that way. A lot of things.
Oh, man.
A lot of things to do.
That's a good road trip if you know where to stop and why. You break up the drive. Isn't that what the old phrase was? Break up the drive.
Yeah. Well, we're doing more than breaking up the drive. But I'll tell you something. I got my dad to sign up today for $1.
He did.
He did. So I said to him, hey, listen, go over there and get signed up. And he goes, you're not comping your own dad? I'm like, oh, hell no. It's $1. It's your sorry ass over there, Dad. He's like, all right. I'll do it. Can you walk me through it? I'll walk you through it.
He used to log into my old Warchant account for years.
Yeah.
I could say that now.
Yeah. So I walked him
probably
through
like 8 years.
Yeah. I walked him through it. He got signed up for the $1. He's very excited. He's got his own name on there now and everything. And he said, what should I name myself? What should be my thing? And I said, I don't know. I mean, look at the people on the board. They're all like, they're either the state or city they're from, Noel. That's like North Carolina Noel, Georgia Noel, Texas Noel, or they're their favorite player in Florida State lore, or there's some shenanigans. Sometimes they're clever. guacamole Nole or something like that. You know,
Cornolio.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I said, so you can choose the clever, you can choose where you're from, you can choose your favorite player of all time, you can choose. I said, how much work do you want to put into it, Dad? How much time do you want to spend?
How about Noli crap?
You could do that. You could do it. So I said, just pick something that is specific to you, whether that's a player, a moment in history. Dad, you and I have been going to games for 40 years together, for Christ's sake. I don't. Did one of those moments stand out more than the rest?
I don't know why, but he should be seminary Nole, so people think he's a priest.
What?
People will respect him. So whatever he says,
they would respect him anyhow.
I'm sorry, Father. He might be a man of God, sir.
Oh my goodness, no. I like what he chose, and I won't tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is, but that's it. Yeah, what he chose was excellent. It's very much him. It's so perfect. When he came up with it at the end of the conversation,
does it have to do with history?
Well, yeah, but it's sports history.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah. But he did a great job. When he said it to me, I went, "There you go, Dad. That's
Sherman's torches, Nole.
No, that's how it's done, buddy. There you go. You did a great job." And he was all excited. He's like, "Oh, okay." And then he told me my Pirates are terrible. I was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad. I know.
Love you too, Dad."
Yeah. But the point is, that was the conversation today. The conversation happened. He got signed up, and he started getting into specifics about Florida State, what's at stake this season, the weight that he feels of this season. Like I said, you think you do? Can you imagine Mike Norvell right now? I mean, coaches are always paranoid this time of year that there's just not enough time. You could take the clip from Heat, Al Pacino and De Niro at the cafe, and where they're talking. I know what that one's about. Yeah, time, not having enough time. Right. Play that on a loop. It's a great scene. Anyhow, that's the coaches this time of year. Not enough time. Probably waking up in a cold sweat, dead of night. Forgot to do this or that, right? And I would think that's been elevated probably to a place that's that maybe Mike has never been in before. Because if you think about the overwhelming success that he's had in his career prior to this moment, it was always an upward trajectory. Think about it. When you're that young and that promising and you're going that route, you know, you're getting recognized for doing good things. First as, you know, a receivers coach or whatever. And then you eventually move on to where you get an opportunity to call plays and you do well there. You get greater opportunities, more responsibility. Then you're the OC. You know, you're a co-OC. Then you're the OC. Then you're a head coach at Memphis. Obviously, you did exceptionally well, carried on the successes that came before. Then you get the job. Ultimately, you get the job. Head coach, Florida State. He's probably never been in a position like he's in now where you're coaching for your job. That has to be intense.
Just envision Papuchis rolling over in his bed, finally home for the first time in 3 days. And there's Mike standing there. John. What, Mike?
I just thought about something.
We only ran 20 periods of special teams this week. We were supposed to run 22. What? 2 more periods, John. We missed 2 periods of special teams. The gunner drills. Remember the gunner drills? Coach, what are you talking about? 22 periods, John. Get up. We got to go.
Let's go.
We got to figure out where we can fit in those 2 periods of gunner drills.
Call the kids. Get them out on the field. It's 3:00 in the morning.
We've been good in 20 aspects, but we need to be good in 22 aspects of what we do.
Brian writes, do you think he is coaching for his job this year? In a sense, yes. I think the only way, Brian, that he could lose his job is to finish under 500. If they finish under 500, there's a good chance they could fire him. But if he, and I've said this before, this is not an attack. This is not some bold statement. This is Florida State, man. There are expectations. You know, if you're Mark Stoops, you get 6 years to try to get it all figured out because it's Kentucky. It's Kentucky. Nobody gives a damn. They wouldn't give the basketball coach at Kentucky 6 years to figure it out. I can promise you that. Why? Tradition, expectations, investment, standards. Florida State is not a place where you can be half-stepping for prolonged periods of time. There are a lot of reasons that we're in the mess that we're in, and they're not all laid at his feet. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. And we can talk, the most patient amongst us, the most fair-minded amongst us can talk about, hey, look, he was the third coach in 4 years. Who can succeed in a situation like that rapidly? Nobody. Nobody can. That's correct. I agree with you. This first year, this is a nothing year. Then you get COVID. 19 months I'm here. I can't even visit somebody. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Agreed. You lost out on your opportunity to have the new car smell that we're watching with Cristobal, that we're watching with Napier, that we're watching all around the country when new coaches get hired. You lost out on yours. You got screwed. Sucks. And the fair amongst us go, that's not fair. We got to give him a little extra time. This is a toughie. Plus, he's got to flip that locker room. It's toxic. There's no good players. This is tough. This is going to be a minute. Gotcha. It's going to be. Haven't had a winning season. All the minutes and patience. I think the vast majority of the fans have said, okay, I get it. I understand. I got it. They won't after this year. They won't. If they're bad this year, that's it. He's done. They may not let him go, but he's done. He's a dead man walking. I've said it time and again. And I think he knows it. And it's okay. It's okay. Man, when you're paid handsomely and you have a high-profile job like this one, and the expectations are sky high annually, you know what you're walking into. He's not a volunteer. Nobody feels sorry for him. He's rich. It's going to be okay. But you do have to win at some point. You get done with all of the, hey, well, this happened, and then this happened, and this hasn't been good, and he needed to do this, and he's been really unlucky. We can all acknowledge that. He has been really unlucky, whether it be injuries or weird situations where they have a guy, and then the whole deal. This is the year where everybody stops doing that. Nobody's going to say, well, they're not. If you don't win this year, they're going to go, yeah, I'm done with him.
Well, yeah, it goes from, to, been 3 years now.
It's Florida State, man. You can't be out here half-stepping. There's a window where we get it, and it's all starting over. Nobody wants to start over. I don't want to start over. Starting over sucks. And it begins to feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because what happens is, let's just say he goes 5-7, 6-6 this year. And in your heart, let's just say, there are two camps here. I can make the other argument that you wouldn't fire him no matter what, but I can make the argument that you would if he went 5-7, let's say. But say you're in the camp of anything below 7 wins and he's got to go. Say you're in that camp. You're in that camp, but don't tell me you don't feel some trepidation in doing that. Don't tell me you don't think that you would have to think twice about it. Because if you do fire him, you're starting over again. Again. The guys you got, they're gone. They'll walk. You got to do this whole thing again. And then you got to let the next guy implement his way of doing things. Start fresh with his mantras and infuse the team with his.
We haven't even played yet. I don't want to go there.
What I'm saying is we're talking about the magnitude of this season, what's at stake, and the weight of it. That's okay. That's okay. People coach under pressure all the time, and sometimes they come through and they get rewarded, because I'll tell you what, if he wins 8 games, he's going to get an extension and a raise. It works both ways. You fail, hit the bricks, pal. You win, extension and a raise. There's a lot on the line. Of course there's a lot on the line. It's big-time college football, and we got to stop. You know what I was going to say.
That's right. And if you did, I would have said this segment. We got to stop this segment now.
And think about, Tom, it's not just that he's under pressure for lots of reasons. It's big-time football. Of course he's under pressure. We got to win. We've been BS around here for a long time. It's not just that. It's that college football is transforming. Florida State's got to be in a position to get with the getting if somebody wants to extend the offer. If you just in perpetuity are out here going 5-7, 3-6 and sucking, then,
that's twice.
Everybody's going to be like, yeah, well, they once were, but maybe we need to look at North Carolina. Maybe we need to look at some other markets. Oh. I know, right? Right. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
District leaders in Leon County are still searching for teachers and bus drivers. The district started the year 20 bus drivers short and needing to fill around 30 teaching vacancies. However, staffing shortages have been a problem across the state. At a press conference Wednesday, Governor DeSantis talked about his plan to hire first responders to help answer the call. The program requires applicants to meet certain criteria to get their temporary teaching certificate. It waives exam fees and offers a $4,000 bonus for first responders. Money teachers feel could be used to raise salaries. Leon County Teachers Association President Scott Mazur says he has great respect for first responders. He feels this plan challenges the standards for educators. Governor DeSantis believes, however, that the life experiences of veterans and first responders can pick up that slack. The proposed plan would also allow people with associate's degrees to partner with existing teachers as mentors, and it offers a scholarship program for current teachers to get master's degrees. This is Rachel Ade with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 90. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows around 73. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely. High temperatures reach up to 89. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their clothes. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that Mike is easy to root for. I think that's true. I think the fan base wants any coach, whether they're easy to root for or not, to succeed. But it's just easier to root for the guy that is working his ass off and really seems to be doing all the right things, saying and doing all the right things. But, no matter how much you like rooting for the guy or you want him to succeed, I mean, this is a very simple business. You do or you don't. You smoke or you get smoked. So
today was a very, very light day on the practice fields. They,
yeah.
He even said it. Mike said it's a dial back day. They're going after it with more intensity tomorrow, mirroring what a normal Wednesday would be during the football season. So
okay, but they have a pseudo scrimmage Saturday, so I wonder how much they'll get after it.
Right. I'm not sure. I think they're going through the intensity of install and the way they like to mock what they're going to do. They have the coaches go out there before practice and camp starts. Where are you going to be for every period? So with nobody else out there aren't any players. It's like, coach, where are you going to be? And if they're not in the right place, Michael shout him down just like he would the players for. So they like to dress rehearsal stuff a lot. Anyway, the most intriguing thing I heard from Mike today was after a while, he was asked a couple questions about philosophy and ramping it up. And he said, you'll see a lot of teams that do this. And he puts his hand up. We don't want to be like that. We want to be the teams that are prepared, that are serious, and they're not barking the loudest. They're the ones that work the hardest. And I get it. That's a cliche. But coaches don't typically talk like that these days. They're okay with chirping. And I think this team is going to let you know. Jared Verse certainly is going to let you know if he makes a play.
It's very much who he is, though. I think you have to be who you are at all times.
But
right?
Mike is about the details, and that mirrors what this team has to be about. They're not good enough to just show up, put on the helmet. We haven't been in years, nearly 10. Almost, we're closer to 10 than we are 5. Years that you could put on the helmet and expect that you're going to be more talented than the team across you. But they might be able to do something about it this year. That's what we were just talking about in the break. Is last year's team was tough. They weren't apologizing for being in games with teams that were more talented than they were, like Clemson or Florida in the second half. That Florida game was a travesty, yet they're still in it and they're playing hard. They just weren't good enough to do anything about it in some of those circumstances. They might be good enough this year in more circumstances to close out games and go for it.
I do think they need a little taste, man. Like one of those games, the LSU or the Louisville game, obviously they got to get that because, you heard what I just said about the Duquesne game. Okay, so you're going to win the Duquesne game. But if you were to lose to LSU and Louisville, it'd be like you haven't won anything because nobody's getting excited about Duquesne. So in essence, you're only tested twice to start the year, and those 2 tests you would have failed, and people will say immediately, here we go again.
Right.
And more importantly, Tom, those kids who've not had any sustained success to speak of have bought in fully. It's why they're likable. When we're out there watching practice, they bust their ass.
They do. Mm-hmm.
They work hard. They're doing what they're told to do. There's a danger of getting somebody to believe in you and then failing them. There's real danger in getting somebody to buy in, lock, stock, and barrel, with everything you're telling them to do. That's macro and micro. That is, you go to a private trainer and you start working out, and they tell you to eat this, this, and this, and to come here and do these exercises, and 4 months later, you're weaker and fatter, you're going to leave that bitch. You're done with him. You're done with him, right? So there has to be proof at some point that what you're telling these guys to do, to believe in, to just take a leap of faith and go all in, ride with me. They got to have a reward.
Yeah, that's the thing that's fairly remarkable given that they haven't had success, and they did start 0-4 last year, is that outside of human nature, there's a difference between human nature and cancerous behavior when you're talking about culture and maybe if guys take their foot off the gas a little bit. There's a difference between focus and then intentionally choosing not to do something, losing focus and intentionally choosing not to do something. You don't see the latter. And that's not putting on Nole glasses. That is legit. You don't look around that practice field and go, oh, there's that kid again. God, they're just going to have to kick him out of practice for the 3rd time in 4 days. There's nothing even close to that.
Yeah.
There are reminders, pointed ones, that Mike will give at times if somebody is lollygagging a bit. But you don't have problem children out there.
No, and that's why they're so likable. Those guys did invest. Those guys did work hard. Those guys did continue to fight. That's one of the things I like most about them. But there is a timestamp on that. That doesn't last forever.
Right.
That's not, Tom, to address your point here, man. Kirkpatrick, that is. You can't just keep doing it time and again and expect that in perpetuity will happen. It's not. At some point, you got to win. So, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying that there's a danger if they can't win either one of those 2 games. I know that they have been always the group that's here now, the ones that stuck around, stayed with it, continued to work hard to get better, and the guys that have said yes, obviously on the recruiting trail, believe in Mike. To come here after we haven't had winning seasons in 5 years, you're going to, it's rather remarkable. You must believe in it, right? But at some point, that all dissipates without a meaningful step forward, without a win in a big game. And so the best chance they have to infuse this team with further belief and confidence, more than they have already from sticking with it, working hard, getting bigger, stronger, faster, and having success, in practice. You've seen they've gotten better. They see that too. They know that. It's the games that matter most. I mean, this is all a stepping stone to the games. So when that happens, if they could win one of those, look out. They could be the surprise team of the ACC. I agree with that sentiment. I agree that they could be better than a lot of pundits think they'll be, including myself, if they get one of those wins. Because then they believe. Then it's like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. He said it was going to happen, and it's happening. Here we go. And hey, listen, when you're on the wrong end of it, you get sick and tired. Sick and tired of being on the wrong end. You get angry. And if you're emboldened with a little bit of confidence and you see the proof is in the pudding, all the work, now you're hunting. Now you're going out there to try to whoop that ass. Now you want people to pay.
Yeah, that's where you can have the lesson be reinforced.
Oh, it's awesome. It's
where you say, look, it works, but it only works because you did the work. Don't forget that. And let's have that discussion of don't be complacent. Because if we have a don't be complacent discussion, that means we're winning.
So I was fortunate enough, I guess, way back when, eons ago now, to have been on a terrible team that the following year went undefeated. And I know that early in the season, a couple of wins that we would have never gotten the year previous meant that that team began to feel like, oh, we can beat all these teams now. And you know what? I want revenge for all these other games. All that time we were on the wrong end of it. Hour number 2, fourth. So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. All heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. It used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Hi, this is Dr. Marianne Arbalou, candidate for the Leon County School Board District 1. Did you know that our schools are experiencing academic and financial declines? Evidence that we need a leadership change. With my credentials, skills, and diverse work experience, I will strive to improve the use of your tax dollars. We've had enough tax increases. I will work to increase experiential learning opportunities. We know that students learn better by doing, and we should create more entrepreneurial programs where students learn about business and don't simply get jobs, but become job creators. I will be transparent and accountable. Your voice matters, and I want to rebuild trust. And I'll advocate for better salary and career initiatives for all staff, focusing on more support for our teachers. My name is Marianne Arbalou, and I'm asking for your vote on August 23rd for Leon County School Board District 1. Thank you.
Paid for and approved by Marianne Arbalou for Leon County School Board District 1.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The United States and Taiwan have agreed to start trade talks. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton with that report.
The announcement by the U.S. to pursue a trade agreement is a sign of support for the self-ruled island democracy that China claims as its own territory. Word of the talks came after Beijing launched military drills that included firing missiles into the seas around Taiwan. The U.S. trade representative, who did not mention tension with China, said the first round of talks could take place as early as this fall. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, abortions in North Carolina are no longer legal after 20 weeks of pregnancy.
U.S. District Judge William Osteen reinstated an unenforced 20-week abortion ban with exceptions for urgent medical emergencies after the June U.S. Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. GOP House Speaker Tim Moore says he was encouraged by the ruling, quote, although our Attorney General has failed to do his duty, today we have a ruling that upholds the law. Keith Peters reporting.
A Taliban police spokesman in Afghanistan's capital says the toll from a mosque bombing the previous evening has risen to 21 people killed, 33 others wounded in the attack. No one has claimed responsibility on Wednesday, though the Islamic State group's affiliate in the country has been blamed for a series of similar assaults. Deshaun Watson reaching a settlement with the NFL to serve an 11-game suspension and pay a $5 million fine rather than risk missing his first season as quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Watson was accused of sexual misconduct by some 24 women while he played for the Houston Texans. On Wall Street, the Dow down 92 points, but the Nasdaq ahead 22. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1 week from today with Redemption Thursday, which will be a lot of fun. Not a huge slate that first
That'll
go
be a
around.
dip in the toes kind of a Redemption Thursday.
Yeah, I'll try to make it. I'll try to add some stuff. I heard from Lee Sterling yesterday. Paramount Sports. He reached out to
All
me.
right.
He's ready to roll. He's excited as well.
Fresh off his conclusion of watching every spring game in America for the third time.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did that this year in terms of traveling about and all that good stuff. I'll have to ask him. We were just texting while I was at practice, so I don't know. Today, not much in the way of practice beyond a lighter day, special teams day, implementing certain things for game day and all that stuff. So not as much to report. I would defer to you. I didn't go today because I knew today was going to suck. So I said, I'm not going. There's no reason for me to be there. And I'm glad I made that decision. But you were there. So was there anything of note?
I was there for
a different reason, but you thought
I was there for the back half of it. Had some logistics near college town because of the excitement we have for what we're doing on game days. Then once I got to practice, there was a lot of special teams to conclude. They were doing some scout work. I heard from our fellow staff members who were in attendance that when they went team early on, defense did better. But you could very much tell that today, even the way the coaches were involved in it, it was, all right, guys,
dial it back.
We need to go get them tomorrow, but let's just get through today's work and put in good work. But this isn't exactly, the first padded practice of the fall camp.
Yeah, and this is now you got to be smart. A lot of guys wearing green jerseys these days, not because they couldn't play if they needed to, just because, hey, look, we're on the precipice of a season starting. You don't need anybody taking unnecessary shots, guys that you're going to be depending on. They've been tackled a lot so far in the last 2 weeks. There's been plenty of contact. You don't need to go down that road anymore. I would say you pretty much know, save for a couple of spots, you pretty much know that depth chart. The coaches do.
Yeah.
I think we know who's what and where they're going to be and which packages. And, I think the coaches know that. There are a couple of exceptions. I don't want to get into that because Mike would get mad about that, and I don't want to do that. But there's a couple spots still up for grabs. Other than that, I think pretty much
Yeah, and I think that beyond the top line, the starters, quote unquote, they also know there's going to be a rotation at so many of these positions. How could there not be? For some reasons that are great, like for defensive interior, you really like the second wave of your guys. So if you need to give Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper a moment in the middle of a game, you can do so. That is a luxury you have this year.
Yeah.
In other cases, it's because you're equally mediocre. If I was to say receiver 3 or receiver 5, they're about the same. Different skill sets, maybe in size, and maybe one's faster and the other's taller. But I think they're going to rotate receiver 3 through 5 a lot. So when you get to the top line of the depth chart, if they do release that next week, remember, everybody, that in most positions, there's going to be a decent rotation, I would think.
Yeah, and that's exciting news because they're building the depth that most good teams have. They haven't had it yet. It's been a long time, and it's refreshing to see that you don't panic the second that guy that backs up the starter comes into the game. The last few years, anytime one of the starters had to come out, and that starter in and of itself was not any great shakes, they came out and then somebody else came in. You're like, oh man, this is a precipitous drop off. We get nervous about that.
Like, I'd rather have Akeem Dent and Jamie Robinson on the field for 95% of the snaps, but if they aren't, Shaheem Brown coming on the field and playing for a little while is not a bad thing. And they said that to me. Coach Woodson did in the preseason. Shaheem's going to play. So did Coach Fuller.
Yeah,
he's going to be in the rotation. So there are some places where they won't. Quarterback, if everybody's healthy the whole season. I don't want Tatum Bethune to come off the field. I don't know about you. But
you do. You know about me. You know I don't want Tatum to come off the field.
Yeah,
yes.
I do know about you.
Yes. Yeah, he's very good. We haven't had a good linebacker in some time.
Maybe that should have been the player instead of Bless Harris. What you know about Tatum Bethune?
Man, I know this about Tatum. He's been a set it and forget it. It's been great. Like, okay, you're there. Yep, good, got it. Beautiful. Don't have to worry about you. Hey, wrap him in bubble wrap now.
Yes.
We don't need him out there tackling anybody right now. Everybody's got the deal. We know the deal.
He's played college football since 2012. We're fine.
And he's good at it. He's good at it. He's a tackling machine. He's physically ready. He's proven himself. Understands the system. Very vocal. Great leader. Gets it. Don't need to see any further proof of that. A little over a week out. Single-digit days to the first game. And, as much as we both love Florida State and we love the game day experience, and we love going over to Doak Campbell Stadium and seeing friends and family and fellow Noles and spending that time together. I mean, it's the home opener you're excited about. It's not the opponent. So, it's Duquesne. I don't care about Duquesne. I care about the fact that it's the start to the season and that I get to see these people that I love and I get to spend time with them. We get to do the pregame show and have a good time at Hotel Indigo beginning at 2:00 on that Saturday. Good times. Taking you right up to an hour before game time. And then through the game with a watch along featuring Dominic Robinson. And then a post game with you and Gene. It's exciting because it means it's all finally arrived. And, I remember a couple months back, we were like 65 days. And, and you just, here we are now, 9 days away.
The only thing I miss doing all of the game day shows that we do, and they're fantastic this year, presented by Zaxby's, of course.
Thank you, Zaxby's.
Is the first game I would always go up to the roof when I got the press credentials. Before that, I'd just be in the stands. And I love the war chant and I love the fight song and all that's wonderful. But pregame fanfare was always something for me because it's also what they play between the third and the fourth quarter. Just something about that number says you're back. The first one. Every other one is fine, but that first one of the season. The band is something that's more important and has a lot more history with my wife and my household. So therefore, Marching Chiefs I've become even more intertwined and I see it differently. But the two things are how they begin and how they finish. Pre-game fanfare before the season starts, and then when they leave their shoes on the field for their senior day. Those are both really cool moments. And those are the two things I miss the most about not being in a stadium. Certainly not the people sitting next to me if I'm in the stands.
Yeah, but for me, I'm fortunate because if I sit in the stands instead of the press box or the roof where I go up to, I'm sitting next to my son and my father.
Right.
So that's a little bit different.
Well, I mean, outside of your group,
Yeah,
there's always like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't need to hear the guy yelling.
Law of averages, I guess.
Yeah, I don't need to hear the guy yelling, clamoring for the touchdown play. And I don't need the guy that is going to tell me what formation they're in.
I told you we should have hired Bob Stoops.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
every game.
There's always a guy. Come on, Mike, they're in nickel. Let's run the ball. Okay, man.
It's Duquesne.
It's
first quarter.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's the guy that needs to be heard.
Well, and it's
needs to be seen.
The first run of the season is no gain. We won't be able to run the ball all year. See? Won't be able to run the ball all year.
This is what I was telling you about out there before we came in. It's Duquesne and we can't run the ball. What do you think is going to happen? Oh, it's the first play of the game. It's okay.
Next play, Trey Benson, 35 yards.
Could have done that on first down.
Yeah. Should be every play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a toughie. It's a toughie. Further removed you get from it, it's harder to accept too. That's the thing. That's where you get to be. We're all snobs that work in the in the sports industry because you don't ever have to do it, and then you do it, and you're like, oh, this is why I don't do it.
It's worth it if there's a crisp, cool breeze in the air, though. The heat makes it worse.
Well, I mean, yes, you lose patience quicker. That's why murder rates go up when it's in the summertime.
Road rage.
Yeah, it's all that's true. I would tell you that I when you get an opportunity, though, there is something special about big road games.
Oh, yeah.
Traveling with your people for big road games.
Yes, strength in numbers feeling.
And it's a fun thing.
We're in this
Yeah,
together
yeah,
feeling.
Yeah, us against the world is fun. Like
There'll
going.
So I was going to say in French Quarter, it's going to be a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be so cool to see a lot of Noles walking down the block.
And listen, LSU fans are great. I got no problem here. This is going to be fun. We're going to have some drinks together. We're going to have some eats together. We're going to have some good times together in NOLA. It's a great place.
And there's a lot of similarities where we are right now.
Fighting back.
Now, they've won a lot more recently than we have. But the idea being, yes, you're on the road back. This isn't cutthroat. If we lose this game, then our season's over and we're going to fire our coach. This is all, look, we understand. We're under construction right now. Pardon our dust. We both understand that. So I think that'll make for a more festive atmosphere too.
So one thing I am interested in, we're going to effort to do this for you. We'll reach out to him. There's an ESPN host there in Baton Rouge who I think does a good job of covering them.
Yep.
And we'll have him on the show. And we'll do a preview, and we'll have a chance to talk with him about how camp's going and all that stuff. I do want to point out that their camp is going well. If you listen to insiders there and you read the reports coming out of there, and that makes a lot of sense to me. And it doubles down on what we've said before, that we're relieved that we're playing LSU this early in the season. Because I believe, just like FSU has a chance to surprise the ACC, FSU has a chance to be a team late in the season that when you sit down to watch College Game Day or whatever you're doing, they're talking about, good to see Florida State back. They got a big game today in Tallahassee. Good to see them back playing good football again. College football is better off when Florida State's playing well. Most outlets that cover the game, and they're interested in the greater fabric of the game, would like to see Florida State, but not just Florida State, Miami, Florida, all be good. Because if you're covering the sport nationally, you want the regions of the country and the traditional powers to all be good. You'd like Nebraska to be good again. The Rust Belt, you need somebody out there who's playing good football. You'd like to see it. You'd like Michigan and Ohio State to be great. You'd like USC to be great. You'd like Texas and Oklahoma both to be great. And in the South, you want more teams to go along with Georgia and Alabama. You'd like to see Florida get better and Tennessee get better and Florida State get better and Florida get better. That's what they would like. Now, individuals, you might question that. You might say, I don't think Chris Fowler wants us to be good. That's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, if you're just talking about these outlets, they would like to see great balance regionally with the traditional powers in college football to be strong.
Yeah, it makes it better for everybody, because remember back in the day when the Bowl Alliance existed in the early days of the BCS, you'd be rooting for multiple teams a week to lose. It wasn't the same 2 to 4. In a given week in October, midpoint of the season and beyond, you got about 4 or 5 minimum games a week that you're watching saying, come on, we need you to lose. Let's go Colorado, knock off Nebraska, or let's go LSU, take down Auburn. How is Kentucky in it with Florida in the fourth quarter? Oh my God, this could be
over.
Right. Now there's 3 or 4 teams and you know who they're going to be. There really isn't. If we take care of our business, nobody can get in our way. In those days, many teams could get in your way.
Yeah, competitive balance is not in place in college football right now. It's why the sport is in desperate shape. I think that they will see a downturn in viewing habits if this sustains. They need more people to enter into the picture. Now, that's a separate subject. I just want to point out something that I think we have a chance to be that talking point, but I also think LSU does. I think LSU, if you're looking at their roster and you're looking at their coaching, has a very good chance to be much better in the SEC than any of the preseason prognostications give them credit for. I understand that Brian Kelly can be a tough pill to swallow because of his behavior in the past, the red-faced lunatic and all that stuff. But if you listen to his players at Notre Dame and you listen to his new players at LSU, and if you look at the track record, and all the way back to Cincinnati when he was there, all the way through, look, the guy's won a ton of football games. He's been able to build and sustain successful programs for a reason. He's a good coach. He's had one catastrophic season. He changed who he was in his behavior, at least, because of it, right? He was on the cusp of probably being released by Notre Dame, and he realized, I'm doing it all wrong. I got to do better. And that's where you get that story about, taking more input from your players and coaches and embracing yoga and all this and changing diet and all this stuff that he did, right? My point would be that he's walked into Baton Rouge, and the second he did, he walked into a place that hasn't seen real coaching in 2 years. A minimum 2 years. Their head coach, whom we all know, had a bout of lunacy. I mean, my man lost his mind. Toxic was that locker room and those situations. If you believe half the rumors that swirl around Coach O, he's not a good guy. That's not a good situation. And they had all basically flown the coop on him. Nobody was playing for that guy anymore. They hated him. They kind of rose up every now and again, and you would see in one fell swoop, look at all that talent. When they drubbed Florida, we were like, oh, my God. Remember they ran for like 350 yards? That was a terrible LSU team. They did whatever the hell they wanted to do. But you would see it on display. You'd be like, they got good players. This is a poorly coached team. This is a Jimbo situation at the end of Florida State where he lost the locker room. If he gets, now I know some of those guys are gone, but he did a good job in the transfer portal of bringing over talented players. Some of those very talented players stuck around. If he instills discipline, gets them focused, and they all buy in, LSU is going to be pretty good. They will be. They have good players. They're going to be a pretty good football team. How long does it take? I don't know. That's why I'm glad we're playing them early. It may be that it all takes in week 4, week 3, week 4, week 5. If all of a sudden you're tuning into LSU games, they're getting better. This is starting to happen for them. They're going to be a problem for some of these teams in the West later in the year. That's a conversation I expect to hear because I think defensively they're really good. I continue to hammer the under on the total for this game for me. I know Vegas sees this 27-24, somewhere in that neighborhood. I do too. Good game. Real good game. I think it's a close game, comes down to the wire, all of that. I'm on board with that. I think both teams' defenses are going to carry the day in that game. Now, it's not our first game, but it's our first game against real competition, and it is their first game. And so sometimes first games can be very difficult to predict. You could have a penalty-laden game. It could be sloppy. There could be turnovers. There could be a lot of things. Or both teams hit the ground running, and the strength of those teams take over the day. It takes a little bit longer for offense to get there, okay? So I'm inclined to lean towards an under of, say, 51.
Well, and it could be a strange game, too, game plan-wise for Brian Kelly. Certainly for us, it could be as well with a bye week behind it for Florida State. But LSU plays Southern the next week before they host Mississippi State, and then they host New Mexico. So you could almost treat this game and install for it in a unique way because you're new, because you've only installed so much of the principles of what you're going to do. Next year, the offense is going to be a lot more complicated, I would think. Even though he's 4 verts, I get that. But the reads and the side adjusts and all that stuff, that's going to get more complex as time goes on. You can put in an opponent-specific game plan and not get burned for it the next week because you're playing Southern. So it could look very different schematically for them in this one-off than it will by the time they're in October and they play Auburn and Tennessee back-to-back, for example.
Yeah, I think LSU's an intriguing team that I would bite on the over. I think they're going to, meaning total.
Win total?
Yeah, win total.
It's around 7, right?
Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 when we saw it in the offseason. I just think that they've got a lot of talent on that defense. That's going to be a problem for us. I'd say we can't overcome it. We're going to be a problem for them too. But I could see this being a game where you kind of like a boxing match where they're feeling it out and you're looking up at the scoreboard middle of the second quarter. It's 7-3. You know, it's one of those type games. Very physical. Guys are playing field position.
Yeah, it'll be about red zone execution as well.
Yeah. Pre-game, post-game, no game at all. Any time is the right time for Zaxby's Platters, just as long as you're hungry. Feed your team with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers or boneless or traditional wings. Yeah, you get all. Ooh, just talking about wings got me thinking about wings, baby.
It's the time. This is wing season.
Wing season is right. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with a sampler platter, and don't forget the world-famous sauce. Got to have the sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving with Zaxby's Platters. We go with the Zaxby's Platters. A lot of hungry boys. They can eat like 15 of those things.
Yeah, that's what we got last year. That didn't get old.
Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. What a good time. Yeah, it is wing season. It's football season. It's getting right season. Your soul is satisfied. Sitting around, eating some wings from Zaxby's, watching the game, hanging out with your friends, drinking a nice, cold, tall beer of sorts.
Yeah, 15 minutes after the post-game show. That's right. And it's going to be extra tall, extra wide. It's a giant beer. It might be a mini keg. And just rip off the top of it.
There's a guy named Badland Chugs.
Yeah.
Badlands Chugs.
Yes.
That my son loves.
I follow your son, so I see him.
He loves him, worships him. I did one of the, what's it called? When you get one of those things where they talk to the person, you can get them to do a video.
Cameo?
Yeah, I got a cameo for him.
You got to set up your own cameo.
Oh, good Lord. And
you could tell people to suck it for their birthday.
I did that for somebody's birthday, and then they use it. Oh, Nate. I did for Nate.
You did?
Ghost Pepper Nate.
You say, suck it, Ghost Pepper Nate?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, man.
I told him the Yankees suck or something like that, yeah.
For only $10.
Yeah, I did it for free. It's the kind of guy I am. But I'll tell you this. It's funny. The glass that he used, Das Boot.
Yeah.
That he uses. We have it. I bought it for Bryce, and it's autographed by Badlands Chugs. And he's used it before because he emulates him.
What does he drink out of it?
Well, he drank like a Gatorade out of it or something like that.
Okay.
But after basketball, he drank a Gatorade out of it, and he thought it was funny. But I was thinking I could bring the Das Boot in, Tom.
I think you should.
And you and I could have a frosty, tall, cold one out of the Das Boot.
Well, the pregame show is not on radio, so there's no FCC thing holding us back.
So as soon as it's over, we can get after the DOS boot.
I would need to take a break for the first half of the watch along, but
Well,
yeah.
well, you get to do
Which
that,
I
right?
do.
You do. Troy wants to know, and Troy, I got to go to commercial break here, but I'm going to answer your question because I know you've asked something about Ubers. Is that what he did? Go back a ways, find it in there. You don't have to post the question. He needs to know about Uber's post game and all that. You don't want to do that near the stadium, brother. You don't want to. That's anywhere. That's anywhere. Like you go to a concert, you go to a game, you go. It's hard to do that.
Because the cell tower is so terrible. You might want to, if it was me and I had to get a ride like that, I would pick a landmark near the stadium, like a restaurant, and
just hoof
a less crowded one. Because we all know it's all roped off or blocked off in a lot of different places. So maybe if you go up Pensacola towards, I don't know, Gordo's on Pensacola Street, you head up that way through the tunnel.
Yeah, so this is what he wrote, and we can help you here, Troy. He wrote, "Could anyone help me now? How do I get an Uber or a taxi after FSU games? Last year I had to walk like 3 miles because the campus shuts down after the game. I have lung issues. It's hard for me to walk a lot." Troy, depends on the time.
Actually,
of the game.
I've got a 2-step plan. You want it here or probably here? So they have the pedicabs.
Mm-hmm.
Take a pedicab so the guy can bike you around
Get your ass
to
up
a
out
place
of there.
up Gaines or up Pensacola.
Yeah, and then you
then from there get your ride share. So it's a 2-part ride share system, Troy, but that's a foolproof way to do it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And good call.
Take the pedicab.
Yeah, get you a little cold one when you're in the pedicab.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Yeah, they'll do it. Good times. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco.
They can dig it. Who's playing?
Oh, man, everybody, the ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros, the Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys.
Wow, far out.
You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas.
Does Margarita know?
Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shannon Lord with Finn Chiropractic. We are primary care physicians, and you don't need a referral to come see us. Chiropractors not only help you get to the root cause of your problem, but it helps get rid of neck pain, back pain, and headaches. It makes your body whole and healthy on the inside. So if you or a loved one has neck pain, back pain, or headaches, make an appointment today to get to the root cause of your problem. Come see me, Dr. Shannon Lord, at finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com, because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Are you prepared for more severe food shortages? It's likely that over the next year, serious food shortages will plague us. American farmers are dealing with insane diesel fuel prices and fertilizer shortages, which will lower crop yields. And that means your family's favorite foods will soon be in short supply while fetching sky-high prices. Inflation is the new normal, folks. It's time to act before things get even worse. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com without delay. You'll find ready-hour emergency food kits from My Patriot Supply that last up to 25 years in storage. Each kit provides over 2,000 calories a day to keep your energy up. Order your emergency food kits today by going to mypatriotsupply.com. Your food ships fast and arrives in unmarked boxes. Listen, there are ways to beat food shortages. When you're ready for real preparedness, make sure to look for Ready Hour Foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. mypatriotsupply.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
F. Great partners of the Jeff Cameron Show. Could be a great partner to you if you're looking to get the most out of your ideas and want to move your company forward, want to move state government forward. They're who you want to call. I'll tell you about that in a moment. We'll solve for the future. The Deshaun Watson mess is at an end for now. Certainly it will never be at an end for him. That'll be fun. That'll be fun for him and his family going to games on the road. Oh, I'm not losing sleep. I'm not feeling sorry for him. When more than 24 women accuse you, and then if you've read the reports, it ain't good. It ain't good. The mess is over in terms of the punishment. We now know what it is. There's a compromise that will leave neither side feeling good about it. I wouldn't think. If you're Deshaun, you ought to feel good about it. You're lucky to be in the league. You're fabulously wealthy. You get an opportunity to continue your career. There was a chance that, if we're being frank, that maybe wouldn't happen. $5 million, but you got $230 guaranteed. The deal you signed is a mere pittance. A 11-game suspension. Okay, well, from there you'll get right back to playing football. It's for a guy described as having engaged in predatory and egregious behavior, nothing short of a form of sexual assault. He's lucky to be in the league. And he's in the league because the league did a poor job prior to this of implementing punishments with any weight. And because precedent was used as a guideline, as it should be, the initial suspension was 6 games. And even the write-up after the 6-game suspension, as handed down by the judge, was, look, I would have done more. I think this warrants more. But the NFL's own precedent tells me that I can't do more. And I'm going to follow that precedent because that's how the league worked in the past. So that's what they did. And then, of course, what basically Roger Goodell gets to do, because of the collective bargaining agreement, is from there, they move from the disciplinary officer, which was Sue Robinson, and a retired federal judge. Then he gets to go, wait, we're going to appeal this. And he does so, and he can kind of try to make himself look good in the public's eye by saying, no, this should have been more. This wasn't my decision. That was the judge. Well, you've governed the league for a long time, man. The reason that precedent was in place is because in the past, guys got away with that or worse and got fewer games. So that precedent was on your watch.
Or they did less and they got more games.
Yeah.
There was no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. So that precedent was set under his watch. But he gets to come out from under this somewhat unscathed by appealing it and saying that in his mind, it should have been more than a year and $11 million and all this other stuff, knowing damn well that's not what was going to get handed down. It is a harsher penalty. They agreed, by the way, the two did, the arbiter and the league. So the arbiter for the league and for Deshaun agreed on this.
Right. There
suspicion.
is no further appeal.
There is no further appeal. It would have gone to court. It didn't. They agreed on this number.
What's interesting, and I'm going to first guess this because it could be handled a lot of different ways, but his first game back
is against the Texans
in Houston.
It's hilarious.
He's not going to play in that game. I don't think they're going to start him in that game. He's not allowed to practice with the team for the balance of the suspension once the preseason is over. You're telling me that this guy with no first team reps for 3 months is going to return to the helm of that team when they go to Houston with all of the pieces that are going to be written and put together on video for pregame shows that are going to be negative PR hits for the league? No way. For the Browns organization?
You can almost argue, depending on their record, that he won't play this year.
Yeah, we'll see what Jacoby Brissett is able to do between now and then. But there's no way to me that you roll him back out there. His first game is that game in that town.
It all feels very dirty. It all feels very ugly. There's no way around it. It's ugly. I think one of the reasons that it's ugly is that he didn't exactly apologize.
Correct.
Yeah. So
maintains innocence is the headline on the front page of all the websites right now.
Well, we're not going to go down. Anybody's free to read every document from this thing, and there's a lot out there. You can make up your mind as you wish. It's an interesting choice of words that he's used more than once with repeated opportunities to address this. Now, I understand some of it. Your lawyers would tell you to shut the hell up and you can't really say much of anything. Got it. And then there are times now that this has already been arbitrated. You could absolutely say something, but there is still a civil trial to come. So not all of this is finished up for him. So I can't imagine that we'll hear from him at any point. I think what happens for him is, at least in the public eye, because there's a lack of contrition, he'll never escape this. This is never going to be a case where he's, it's
you think about the protests outside of NRG Stadium, if that's what they're still calling it.
Cleveland welcomed it in. Cleveland decided that's
the largest guaranteed contract in history.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Now that there is precedent, though, that is to this degree, I think the league, most importantly, if we're trying to advance this, will have an opportunity to act swiftly on egregious, aggressive, predatory behavior towards women in a way that has real teeth, instead of this willy-nilly, arbitrary, sometimes seemingly outside the bounds of their ability to govern act. Because you always had the age-old debate. Well, Roger Goodell's not a cop. There's no, what's he going to do, right? The NFL can investigate it, but they can't arrest him. What are they going to do? So the league should step away and let law enforcement do what they do and then decide based on law enforcement. But for years, they didn't do that, right? They said, what's in the best interest of the shield? And so people were just like, well, I don't know what to think about this. This guy gets this guy gets half that. It seems like his crime was worse than that guy's. What are we doing here?
It's like the NCAA's punishments for institutions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, North Carolina gets nothing after cheating for 25 years.
Because cheating was available to everybody.
Oh, man. All right, let's move on to something a little bit rosier. We'll solve for the future next with our friends from ISF. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Several Southwest Georgia school districts are responding to a social media threat being disseminated in Georgia school systems. On Wednesday around 8:30 a.m., the Crisp County Sheriff's Office said it was made aware of a vague warning of a shooting threat circulating on social media. The Sheriff's Office said the threat is not valid. Some misinformation was spread through social media, Sheriff's Office officials said. Authorities determined the post originated in another state and circulated through Georgia school systems this week. The Florida Highway Patrol responded to an accident in Wakulla County Wednesday afternoon on State Road 267 and U.S. Highway 319. A sedan that was driven by a man from Havana and a pickup truck driven by a man from Carabel was traveling south on U.S. Highway 319 at the intersection of State Road 267. The traffic signal was steady red for the sedan and given green for the pickup truck. The driver of the sedan ran a light and struck the front driver's side of the truck. The driver of the sedan sustained minor injuries. The driver of the truck sustained serious injuries, as well as a passenger in the sedan. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 90. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely, lows around 73. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely. High temperatures reach up to 89. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services has been Tallahassee's preferred residential electrician for over 30 years. Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson, and we've earned our reputation because we care about our customers, about quality, and about providing great service. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to work on a family project like a new house, a custom addition, or a green renovation. For all your residential or service projects, call the good guys, Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services, 562-4111.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
ISF. Yes, ISF, Solving the Future. Been a fun segment since they've come on board. Great partnership. I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. But let's throw it out there. I like the interactive approach that we got going these days because it really kind of models how ISF works with those that call upon their services, right? And you're facing challenges. You're trying to figure out how to move forward, all that stuff. So you want to work together here. And I think we have a chance to work together like we did last week, guys. So I'll posit this to you guys on the chat, Warchant TV right now. Let's go. Get by your keyboard, your phone, whatever you're using here.
You're in your car, pull over, and then pull us up on YouTube and join the conversation.
Yeah, have fun with this here. I want to know, because I'm curious what people will say, and I mean that legitimately. Who are your X factors on offense for Florida State? Who are your X factors on defense for Florida State? Give me an X factor. Give me somebody that, if they're terrible or great, will have the biggest impact on Florida State this year to change their fortunes, good or bad. However you want to look at it. Most of us right now are in a place mentally, I think, certainly to think in the realm of the positive. And I'm with you on that. Because there are some guys on offense and defense that maybe aren't household names, maybe aren't guys that immediately come to mind when you think about this team. Think about the higher profile players on this team. But there are guys just below that notch that you've heard good things about out of camp. We've watched practice and have good weeks in practice. Guys that could change the fortunes for this football team and primarily in a positive way. Although there are some, I see where Brian has said Jared Verse. It's interesting. You could look at Jared Verse both ways. That's a good candidate, Brian, because Jared Verse is a guy that if he plays great could have a huge impact on this team. We think, immediately about Jermaine Johnson and what he did to change games and getting after the passer, all those things. How far of a drop-off is Florida State going to suffer without the presence of Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas? Well, if Jared Verse has a huge season, not far. If he has a terrible season, we'll feel the weight of that considerably. It's a good candidate. As we go through some of these, I see Deuce Span's name there. If he can block, that's from Mike. Johnny Wilson, Duke Cooper is what Kevin has to say. Amari Gaynor on defense. That's an interesting one. Amari Gaynor.
Yeah, if he's great, that changes a lot of things. I don't know how many snaps we'll see. We'll see what he's involved in, how often he's involved. But he's been better. He had a good last month of last year, had a good spring camp, had a good fall camp.
Yeah, it's true. Jacob writes Pittman. Micah Pittman's a good one. If he has a great season and is consistent, could change the way this offense motors. I really like Ed. Good job. By the way, coffee's great. I would say that Wright and Bethune seem about right, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Tatum Bethune maybe is less of an X factor. I think he's a known commodity, but I understand why. He's new. So it is game changing. Of course, they didn't have a guy like that last year. And then the other thing I would say is Winston Wright is a good answer because we just don't know when he's going to play. How soon does he get out there and contribute? Because he's a known commodity as a player. In the Power 5, he's a known commodity as a productive, very good player. Florida State doesn't have too many of those at wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd say on offense for me, the X factor is Darius Washington because he can play multiple positions. And if he's good this year, so good that you can't keep him off the field, right? Great or terrible, that kind of a thing. You have fortified yourself against multiple injury problems in the course of a game. Somebody goes down, Darius can play it. That's huge. You need that guy. Right now, I feel good about Estes as a backup. Already as a primary backup. But it's mostly a guard that I feel good about Estes. If Darius Washington is good, you can move all kinds of guys around the offensive line, and he can fit anywhere. From right to, well, maybe not left, but I think from right tackle to left guard in a pinch, Darius can help you get through whatever problems you've got. And if he's good, then you might not even miss the guy who went down for a few drives. And we haven't been in a position like that before. I like Estes as a backup, but Darius could help change and make you feel a whole ton more confident about the offense should you have attrition in the trenches, which is just normal to have during the course of 12 games.
I tend to gravitate towards the two defensive ends, McClendon and Verse.
Oh, if McClendon's a game changer,
if McClendon's
that is a game changer.
Consistently good, it changes the outlook for this defense considerably. That is a big I don't know. He has good days and bad days. I just don't know. Let's see if we can get some consistency out of him. We don't know about Jared Verse at the big-time level. So let's see what he does here with this huge step up.
Who do you feel more confident about today of those two, 5 or 9?
To be consistent?
Mm-hmm.
9.
Interesting.
To be consistent. I think Verse is a splash player. I think he has moments. I think we're going to say, wow, look at that. He'll have a game where the guy across from him does not have the footwork, does not have the speed, does not have the length, and is going to get worked. And he's going to have a day. They're going to have to start chipping. People are going to go, okay, this is a mismatch. But he's going to have days where there's a quality tackle that gets his hands on him, and it's a quiet day.
That is so funny. You could apply those exact words for me to
Derek
McClendon.
Well,
right, I feel better about Verse because I think Verse is stronger, and so there's a better chance. I understand that a lot of times he'll be lining up against the left tackle, but they move around
the
defensive line. But I think he's strong enough to do something about it if you've got a tackle that's worth his weight. McClendon, I'm not sure if he's got the variety. I think Verse has more variety to what he can do to affect a play. But if you're slow-footed and McClendon's on the other side, I don't know. Because then you got to start guessing. And when you guess, he's going to make you look silly.
Brian, I think it's because he's young, not because that's who he is as a player. He'll get better over time, meaning 5 will get better over time.
He's smart, too. He's a smart football player, I think.
Ed, sure, I'll take more coffee anytime you want to give it to me. That is not solving for the future here for the football team, but it is solving for Jeff Cameron's kitchen. That is a great thing. Coffee every morning in abundance for both me and my wife.
Well,
we are the proud parents of 2 young boys, and they will drive you nuts, and coffee comes in handy.
Look, every time the morning's over, morning becomes the future. So you are solving for the future.
That is correct. That's well done. A lot of people on the chat here, and thanks guys for interacting. I mean that, sometimes I can be a snarky, sarcastic bastard, but I do care that you guys are interacting with us here today. I appreciate that. Thanks for playing along.
What a giving moment.
Johnny Wilson, a lot of people noting Johnny Wilson, and
boy, if he's really good, that does change things.
Well, it does. Same with Deuce Span. It's a good answer. We got a lot of guys that fit this. I mean, a lot of guys that fit this. I think we named him. I think the chat named him. I think we named him. I think we did. To me, the guys that stand out in that category, Verse, McClendon, Wilson, Span. Those are the guys that really.
Hey, man, there's another one. A.Z. Thomas.
How quickly can he be dominant? He's quieted down in camp. I'm not giving anything away. I think he's tired. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
I think it's
But if he picks it back up,
which he will,
in the season, and he looks like the guy that started camp, that changes your secondary. You can do a lot of things at that point. You move some guys around. That could be game changing because some guys just have the knack for coming down with the football. So far with what we've seen, he has that knack. Some dudes fight the ball. Akeem Dent for most of his career, and he's gotten better at it. It took 5 years. But Akeem would fight the football. He'd do everything right. He'd be in position. Then he'd just kind of fight and flap against the football and hit the ground. AZ is smooth.
Oh, well, he's a former receiver.
Right. You can see it.
So he was a very good and productive high school receiver. So the football doesn't scare him. I mean, he can make a play on it. That's your grand reward, young man. That is your grand reward for the hard work that it is to cover somebody. It's hard to cover somebody.
If you take the football away from the other team, that's a positive thing. Increases your chance to win.
Bobby Bowden at the end of his career. Eric, good on you, brother. It's good to see you again. It's been many years since we were over at AJ's doing the sports talk. But he writes, I know Travis isn't unknown, but if he is terrible, we will be. If he's excellent, we could do a lot. Yeah, he's not an unknown. You're right. Yeah, but Eric, you're right. I mean, obviously, if he's not any good, this is gonna be a long year. But I will say again, big but here, big but. I'll tell you this. I would have told you a year ago that when he was out, or if he couldn't play due to injury or whatever, I just held my breath that something disastrous didn't happen when anybody else went in the game. But I got to tell you, I will not feel like disaster is pending if Rodemaker goes in the game. Now, I'm not telling you he's going to go in and light it up, but I won't immediately feel a sense of doomsday.
You won't walk to the fridge.
No, I won't be like, oh, well, that's that.
Right. Dylan G is on the hill. Dylan, grab me another G. You remember that used to be his nickname. Grab me another.
Yeah.
And if they come back from commercial break, you say, and Tate Rodemaker is in the game, you're not going to say, hun, I need the double IPA.
Yeah, I think I think if he's in the game, you'll be nervous. You're not gonna conclude that here comes an ass kicking. We're great. Here we go. One way or the other, you're gonna be like, well, let's see.
The performances.
Let's see what he does.
The performance is in doubt, and that goes both ways.
Yes, both ways. Like I just don't know. Just don't know.
Tate, I just don't know. Rodemaker.
That's what he's graduated to right now. I just don't know.
And once he takes that next step, the Rodemaker is reborn.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
From the ashes of his high school tape.
Unless I'm sitting right next to you, the text will read to you as he takes the field. We'll see. We'll see, Tom. Or what will we see, Tom?
Well, that's better than we're effed, which is what I was getting.
Yeah, you would have gotten, well, this is over. This is effing over is what you would have gotten.
Right, yeah. And I'd hear it while I'm doing whatever.
Ding.
Like, I know what that is.
That's Jeff venting. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun that we're in that position, I got to say. I mentioned it a moment ago. We're solving for the future from our friends at ISF. Partners of the Jeff Cameron Show could be partner with you and your agency, your organization, moving forward, trying to figure out how to move forward efficiently. You're thinking about all the things that need to be addressed, overly complicated processes based on old rules, no clear direction. What you're trying to do, big picture, times have changed. You have to change too. You guys know that. You can't be working with outdated, hard to support technologies. ISF does this for you. They'll help you. They'll work collaboratively with you. Closely with you, getting your terms input and provide their expertise to make recommendations for a path forward. They don't just tell you what to do. They don't tell you how to get there. They help develop a strategy for your future alongside. So many ways to streamline things, so many systems that we may not need to support anymore, things like that, bigger picture stuff working with you. It's what ISF does. Let ISF work with you, your vision, their expertise, solving the future. Probables. Fire it up, buddy.
it's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I can tell you what's probably going to happen tonight. The Pirates are going to get their ass kicked. That's probably what's going to happen tonight. I just assume that every damn night. He had a 2-run homer in the first last night, take a 2-0 lead. By the second inning, it's 3-2 Boston. I'm like, okay. Why do I keep watching?
Probable
Sadomasochistic.
is, take a step back. Probable is a very interesting term for this layout. Because these dudes are pitching. Like, what's the percentage of a probable on the day of a game actually pitching? Or not? If they're actually, it's 99 plus.
99 plus.
99 plus.
Yeah.
The NFL injury report probable is
very
85.
Cardinals are beating the brakes off the Rockies 10-0 in the 5th. Woo! Antonio Cincinnati did not have it today, folks. Adam Wainwright is dealing again. Are you kidding me with this? 150 years old. Throws 72. 2-0 Texas over Oakland. That game's in the 4th. A's, Rangers, Zach Logue and Dane Dunning. 1-0 Houston over the White Sox in the 2nd. That is Luis Garcia, Lucas Giolito. We've got a warm-up underway between the Cubbies and Baltimore. That is coming up. That is Adrian Sampson and Spencer Watkins. 30 seconds. We'll skip ahead here. John Wachowski, JT Brubaker in Pittsburgh. Brubaker sucks. Mets, Braves, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried. Good work out of you. Thanks, Director Matthew, as well. Be good, everybody. Have a great night. We will talk to you on Libations Friday.